Fuck yeah!
Okay, can you not be rude about it? Okay, I'm
Throw some balls.
It is International Women's Day.
sir.
Throw a pair of ovaries.
Yeah!
There's your pitch.
Okay, alright. Before I get to these poems, I'm going to tell you guys a story, and the story is describing what's happened over the past 24 hours. So, fun fact, I have debilitating social anxiety, so this is a nightmare, but I am a poet, so I felt like throwing up since 3 p.m. So, I took some meds to stop feeling like throwing up. Turns out, my body doesn't like that. So my legs are really warm and I feel kind of lightheaded, so I'm somewhere between like turns and like passing out. So
you got this!
So I'm gonna nail it, obviously, or pass out. But if I pass out, it's like abstract expression. There's a lot of meaning in it, you know?
Chair behind you.
Just aim for the chair.
Okay. So since it's International Women's Day, I thought I heard someone say that at some point. But both of my poems are about women because I love women in the regular way and the gay way. This is a lot of talking. I'm just gonna get to the poetry. I'm sorry. Okay. So this first one's called Honeysuckles, and for a bit of context, honeysuckles are a type of flower that you can spread the petals apart and you can suck on the nectar, and it's great instead of gross. So yeah. All right. Woo! I remember the first time I heard about honeysuckles. On a sweltering summer day with sweaty thighs and endless skies, my mother told me about the flower's sweetness. She told me it tasted like freedom and summer with a smile on her face. I cut the edges of my mouth while eating a popsicle as I wondered why her happiness looked so sad. When I think of honeysuckle, I think of the women in my family. I think of their hot summers and their less hot winters, and the taste of it left in their mouth when they learned what being a Fontaine meant. I knew Mama tasted honeysuckle when she took 3 kids and left her alcoholic husband decades before it was socially acceptable to do so. Honeysuckle that day tasted like knowing that love and fear are 2 different things. Grandma tasted it when she called the restaurant my mom's abusive boyfriend worked at and made sure they knew my mom was at a battered woman's shelter because of him. Honeysuckle that day tasted like standing up for your fellow Fontaine women when they didn't have the strength to stand for themselves. Susan tasted it when she raised 2 kids by herself and worked herself to the bone, making sure they had everything a kid could need. It tasted like not letting the world tell you no was the final answer. Mary tasted it every time she left because she wasn't happy with what she'd been offered. Mary tasted it at 6:23 p.m. on a cliff at the end of a hike, watching the sun kiss the earth goodnight as she touched infinity with her eyes. I think Mary is the reason honeysuckle tastes like freedom. I bet that's what it tasted like that day. Jennifer tasted it when she moved across the country to make her dreams real from ambition and Fontaine's stubbornness. It tasted like knowing that when you never forget where you came from, where you go will always have honeysuckles. Amy tasted it when she greeted every heartbreak with a maybe next time. It tasted like knowing the strongest thing is to stay soft in a world that molds pessimism from youth. Mom lost the taste when she was diagnosed with CRPS. I saw her clutching as she tried to grasp the fading freedom. She wanted the summer so much it felt like she was dying from the need. The world was warm the day she remembered what it tasted like. She told me that summer day that it tasted like freedom, but I think that it tastes like the truth. Fontaine women never stay down. As I grew, I wished I knew the taste, but I think I have an inkling of it now. When I was younger, I longed for the taste as I felt trauma choke the freedom out of me. I'd think about the summer of it on cold nights when everything told me to finally give in and end it. But I think I can finally taste it when I write. To me, it tastes like rebirth. Fontaine women taught me that we are made of what we make of things. Fontaine women can make anything into something beautiful. Someday I will too. These days, I feel like I haven't seen summer in years. I don't mean the time of year when I say that lately the nights have been so much longer. I know you all feel it too. When I was young, my mom told me my grandmother went to protest back before my mom could walk. I think the honeysuckles that day tasted like knowing the fight for freedom will never end. Not because the end is impossible or our strength is failing, but because the battle ends the second we decide we're not worth fighting for. We are worth fighting for, even though it seems impossible right now. On the colder nights, we need to close our eyes and imagine we can taste the honeysuckles. You may have never seen them before. Don't worry, I haven't either. But I have it on good authority that it tastes like freedom. My second poem is titled Feminism, but the alternative title is Ode to the Female that are in relationships with protagonists. You stop to look at her. She looks like danger wrapped in leather and a razor-sharp smile. She doesn't need your approval. She has it anyway. You wonder if she tastes like smoke and the nights that never end. You wonder if you touch her, if it'll mean you finally stopped playing it safe and started playing her. Because that's what being a metaphor is. She's razor smile and leather because she's ripped out jugulars to survive, and she's the only one making sure she doesn't get cold. Sure, she's the protagonist's motivation, screaming along to the song she didn't pick out. The night air is swallowing her soul through her breath as she sticks her head out the window to feel the moment hit her skin at 60 miles an hour. But she's the protagonist's motivation after the movie stops, too. She's standing on a balcony at 3 a.m, forcing her frozen hands to work the lighter to finally light the cigarette. She's staring at the sky, knowing the world is so big and she's so small, but it will never be enough to fill her. She will always be empty. She deserves more than the world gave her, so she'll learn to find it and take it herself. Look at the metaphor, pull her jacket tighter around herself. Do not forget that she is a person. So many people have forgotten she's a person that she can't remember what human feels like. She won't be able to help you figure out what to do. She's as lost as you are. Keep your record store visits and quirky misconceptions to yourself. Her day has been long enough. You wonder if you've ever really seen a person. She deserves a set of eyes to see her, so you stop to look at her. She looks like danger wrapped in leather and a razor-sharp smile. She doesn't need your approval. She has it anyway. You keep walking.